Let's talk about one of your key structures as a human being, your DNA. So that's physical, eh? Your DNA is very complex stuff. I'm Jason at AwakenedEssence.com, and I'm going to discuss DNA implications for your awakening process, your healing process, your sorting through your life stuff process, because DNA may be having an impact. And there's all sorts of theories and ideas out there. Yeah, some of them I do talk about, but I'll stick with the more concrete ones to start with. Your DNA, Deoxyribonucleic acid, if I said that right, DNA. It's made up of 4 proteins. It's the basis of us as a human being. These guys here have about 99% the same DNA as us, so only 1% difference means you don't go, yeah. So it's fantastic stuff. However, it is hard-coded. Your DNA is literally your blueprint for life. It carries your habits. It does carry memories. And it can also carry trauma. Trauma that's not yours. Woohoo! You've got to love working through stuff that's not yours, eh? Could be your great-great-grandmother's. However, we have Harth Timeline for that, eh? So, of course, and then genetic issues. You know, health problems, tendency to have, say, cancer, or which is the obvious one. All sorts of human conditions can be triggered by your DNA genes. So in terms of working with your DNA, Pillar 1 in the 9-pillar framework is correct presence practice. Step 1 is be in your body, be here. Especially when you're calling one of those. There'll be a video on that, live, as I went through that process of getting myself to the hospital and then back the next morning to have surgery. This is just a cockatoo protection device over the top. The sacred bog roll. So our DNA carries a lot of stuff, and us as humans, we still really don't know much about it. There's various amounts of research out there as to what it can do, what it can't do, what it carries, what it doesn't. There is scientific research that's been done on organ transplants and various other things like that. Yeah, it carries memory. Because when someone has an organ transplant and the person is deceased, you know, things have happened like that person then has the code to unlock that person's safe. Or how would they know it if it wasn't actually contained in their organs, in their DNA, in their cells? So it's always good to be flexible in terms of, you know, where things stop and start. But your DNA, you know, some of the stuff that's in there, it is very, very hard-coded. So to change a belief may actually mean you have to switch a gene on or off, or modify it, or work with it consciously to resolve it at the cellular and the DNA levels. And I've been doing some of this work regarding this stuff for like 20 odd years off and on. So when you're presented with something in your life that you want to clear out, align, bring into active presence instead of reaction, i.e. unconscious reaction, not being present, then it's important that you activate step 1 of correct presence practice and be in your body as much as you can, as grounded as you can. So you're here and your awareness fills your cells, which includes your DNA. This is why Pillar 1 is correct presence practice, and step 1 of Pillar 1 is be in your body. Step 2 of correct presence practice, of course, is to be aware of the concept of the inner body, the non-dimensional thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, pains, energetics, How's that? Where is that in your body? How much of your body can you feel? As you're still aware of your backside, your calf muscles, your arm when it's being tapped by a parrot, your peripheral vision, neurologically that's wired, turn on the corpus callosum and activate the alpha brainwave state. Left-right hemispheres activated. From this place you can start working with your DNA. And because it's physical stuff, it might take a lot longer than just going and seeing the fallacy of it like you would the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus, which is what you can do with standard light level belief patterning. If it's there in the physicality as a protein, might require a bit more. So persistence and running that habit. So your unconscious mind, which is pillar 5 in this framework, your unconscious mind, which includes your ego, your identity device, can then activate and change your DNA. This is how fantastic your unconscious mind is. God gave you everything you need, and your unconscious mind is it, and it thinks and behaves like a 5-year-old. Go see the Pillar 5 video, and if you want to read all the dry stuff about prime directives down the bottom of the page there, those are phenomenally important and very complex. So your unconscious mind, your ego, your identity device, what's mine, what's not, and how do I keep this body alive? That's his prime directive, as these cockatoos often show when they hear the noisy miner and freak out and fly away without bothering to look. As you work and drum in the default habit of being present, being grounded, being here with all of your resources, which means all of your brain's turned on too, so all of your mind's turned on as best as it can to help you with whatever task you're doing. Your unconscious mind can then work with your DNA, turn the genes in a way that is obviously in alignment with what you're wanting if you're working with your unconscious mind correctly. So various health issues or behavior patterns or reactions can fall away for good, because once you change those genes, hopefully they don't go back. I've yet to experience that one, but it takes practice. It's more of a coaching thing. I may do a course on it at some point in time, and we do cover that with the Harth Timeline and various other things in the healing courses. We may bring in aspects of that. So this is where your spiritual approach needs to include Pillar 2, all of you, your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your ego, and all that stuff, your esoteric stuff, your higher spiritual stuff. But your DNA is really quite important because it's the toughie. So in terms of this video, other ones too help support and give you some understanding of what it might take to work through certain aspects of your genetics is the Advanced Inquiry, Mastery of Inquiry, the Inquiry Process, the Kundalini video, the Advanced Phase Plus video where I'm sitting here, not the one down by the frog pond, and the healing videos, Golden Ray, Reiki, Phoenix Healing, to get an idea of how to approach it. Yeah, we can cover all this stuff in coaching. I've run workshops on it. It's fascinating stuff. For instance, you know, the DNA is so important to our being because it is our hard coding. It is our extremely difficult to change software. So if things aren't shifting in your life and you've put a lot of time and effort into it, i.e. you've been through the process that I talk about in the Advanced Inquiry page, you've been through those layers, and it's ongoing. The chronic health condition video too is a good one. No, I discuss a lot of that in there. Yeah, no, it's not for you to eat. You know, if there's something still hanging around, then start, you know, with your meditation and your healing processes, start looking into if there's something there in your DNA. So in terms of the DNA, I've done a number of things with it over the years. Getting rid of lactose intolerance was the most blatant one. I went from being a mucus snot ball from drinking milk because I needed to change my diet. I needed to go to keto to remove a whole lot of fat to get rid of a chronic spine condition, i.e. chronic health video. Fixed that in 20 minutes and then went on to like 8 litres of milk a week as yogurt and various other things to get rid of chronic spine pain. That worked. Run workshops on it, a Reiki Masters on it, which had some really interesting effects with a baby that had a birth defect called smooth brain syndrome, and when that mother got home, you know, we were working with the mother, so it was surrogating across to the child. Her specialists were reporting that this kid made some unexplained changes that could not be explained. So it's a matter of trying it and working with it, but it's important as part of your understanding if things aren't shifting, you know. As I say in the 4 ingredient overview, what do you want? What you're doing about it? Your structures, i.e. your DNA, and number 3 is evidence, which is also pillar 3, rules of evidence. What's the evidence in terms of how you're progressing with things that are important to you and that you need clearing through, be it health, your awakening, your behaviours, you name it. Yeah. Using your volitional attention. You're coming on for a ride, eh? You coming along for the ride? Yeah. It's a wonderfully complex subject. And we can indulge in this in one-on-one coaching and some of the healing courses we touch on it too. But it's important to understand it because you know, we all have our desires and needs to round ourselves out or heal something. For instance, for me, the lactose intolerance. I'm working with a behavioural gene at the moment that I want cleared out to make my life run more smoothly. It's still an ongoing process. It's quite a deep one. So I'm monitoring that. I'm recording in my success journal, i.e. pillar 3, gathering the evidence device where I can reflect and go back and see how I went and what I did. It's a work in progress with this particular gene I'm working on at the moment. In terms of the spiritual people and the 12-strand DNA, let's talk common sense, pillar 9. You have 2 physical strands of DNA. If the other 10 strands exist, they are at least etheric and above. So you'll never physically touch them. You won't go and have a biopsy and they'll say, oh jeepers, you've got extra runs of DNA on there. You know, unlike the Fifth Element video with Bruce Willis and stuff. Okay. The other strands aren't physical. So how do you activate those? Yeah, there's a process for that. So that's DNA. Really, really important stuff. And if you're anything that's to do with it is going to be a fairly intense or indeed long-term process to understand it and work with it. Unless, you know, you manage to do it right and you can change it over quicker. So, any questions on that one? send me an email or try me on the phone. So I'm Jason at AwakenedEssence.com. See you in the next video. Hello? Who's this? Who's this? Yeah? Don't be so bossy. Look, come up.